What's going on, everybody? KSA Kris here, the Real Estate Blitz, and today we're going to be talking about overcoming fear. Overcoming fear while you're prospecting. This is a question that comes up a lot, and there's a ton of videos out there. There's a ton of podcasts about it, and I think I get asked a lot of questions even within our own team on how I deal with it. Because if you hear me on the phone, if you watch kind of some of the ways that I do. It's really just a fearless approach that I take, but it's not something that happened overnight. It's actually something I had to work on. It took me a long time to do. What I'll say is when we first started building our business, and I'm sure I've mentioned the story on some of these videos. We were with a broker, a small mom and pop brokerage. They really old school, even though they thought they were really doing it. And I remember going up and asking the broker, I says, how can we, as new, my wife and I, new agents, how can we generate some business? And their high recommendation for us was, you get some bottles of water, you get some donuts, you go stand outside of, it's Pepper Tree Park right up the street from here, and you just hand them out in the morning with your business card, and eventually you'll get some business. And I'm like, screw that, man, there's got to be a better way. And everything they gave us was kind of like that. It was very awful. Let me rephrase. That stuff isn't bad. It's a different approach. It wasn't the approach that I was looking to do. We wanted to build a business quickly. We wanted to build a listing-based business, and we didn't want to go and spend a lot of energy, time, or money standing out on the corner, handing out freaking donut holes with bottles of water. It still seems crazy to me, but everybody has their own thing. So I started doing some research, I started listening, started reading, and I decided to pick two niches, two marketing channels that we want to go down to really attack. The first one was I was going to learn how to cold call. I was going to cold call expireds. So I did research, I got a system. I think the first system I used was RedX. I enjoyed RedX, I think it's a great system, and had a ton of success. The second niche that we went down was social media. And that one was tough, man. Social media was a little bit harder. And I'll probably do a video just on that and kind of what we went through to build a social media presence. At where we were and where we are now, which is now we bring in, hundreds and hundreds of leads per month and hundreds of opportunities. But, what we're talking about is overcoming the fear of prospecting in general. Prospecting can be taken in a lot of different ways, whether it's phone calls, whether it's door knocking, whether it's farming your neighborhoods, dropping flyers, going to networking events, whatever it is. Long story short, prospecting to me is if you have to engage or interact with another person belly to belly, face to face, or even on the phone, if you have to engage or interact with somebody, how do you overcome fear in order to do that? Prospecting shows itself in a lot of different ways. I think whenever I see stuff on dealing with fear with prospecting, they always talk about phone calls. And I think that's great too. But that's not the only way. Simple stuff. I got a listing appointment, actually a listing. It's officially a listing, La Paz. It's a reno to sell. And I was in a motorcycle. I love motorcycles. I was in a custom motorcycle shop, and I'm talking to the lady that was in there, didn't know her situation. We're just looking at bikes, this, that, and the other. And I have a process that I do with everybody. If I end up talking to you or engaging with you, even if you're in 5 feet of me, I'm going to start down. I have an elevator speech that I kind of walk down. And it's really with an intent. It's with an intent of potentially, getting a buyer or getting a seller or somebody that they might know that's looking to buy or sell. That's with everybody. If I'm pumping gas, hey man, great day, huh? Oh my gosh, it's freaking cold today. If they're there, I'm going to start something. I'm going to create a conversation. And I usually always start with something that isn't obvious, that's just going to engage or see if they're even on the same wavelength to actually start a conversation. Man, it is freaking cold today. Oh my gosh, do you believe it? Yeah, it is pretty cold, right? It just seems like the other day it was just, like 110 degrees out here, and now it's like, what, in the 50s? Unbelievable. Hey, but at least we're not in the snow. There's people dealing with the snow, right? Yeah. So the first thing I'm trying to do is build rapport. I'm just trying to communicate, talk, have small talk, and just get them to change their body language towards me. After they start doing that, then I'm going to start asking questions, because the person that's asking the questions in the conversation is one that's controlling the conversation. Yeah, blah, 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 it's 50 degrees, ha, ha, ha. We're laughing, having a good time. My ultimate goal is that I want to be able to poke a little bit of fun at them. When they start laughing when I poke fun at them, we're good, right? That means we're like best friends. But right after that, I'm going to roll into, so you live around here? Immediately, okay? Either yes, no. Oh, no, I'm actually just visiting. You're just visiting? Where from? That's interesting. Oh, well, we come down here every now and again, or I just came down here for the first time. I live out in Orange County. Orange County, wow, that's not too far away, but it's a completely different lifestyle. And this is a pretty fantastic area. So what, you just come here, you stand at one of the local hotels, you just sightseeing, what are you doing? So again, I'm just asking questions to engage with them, and I'm asking questions to find out, are they from here? What do they do? What are they into? Oh, yeah, I am. I live here local. Really? You live here local? How long? Well, about 6 years. 6 years, it's about the same amount of time. So I'm trying to, every time they say something, I'm trying to come back to, can I relate? I always want to try to find a way to be relatable. Now, this whole video is supposed to be talking about overcoming fear of prospecting. I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get to it. I just, hear me out. Hear me out, and you'll understand why I do it the way that I do it. Because I do my phone calls the same way. I do my door knocking. I do all of it the same way. 6 years, wow, I've been here for 7 years. So everything that they're saying, if I can relate to it, I'm going to try to chime in a little bit to say, hey, I'm like you. We're friends. If I can't relate to it, I'm going to try to ask a different question, or I'll ask questions about that specific. Wow, I don't. So you're into riding donkeys. Wow, that's wild, man. How did you get into riding donkeys? I've never heard that. I didn't know that was a thing. So you come here for the local donkey riding competition. Wow, that's amazing. So I'm trying to find something and have them educate me if it's not something that I can relate to, so I can eventually relate to it and then talk to them about it. Now, eventually, I'm always going to get to, so what do you do? What do I do? Yeah, what do you do for a living? I mean, you live out here, this and that, you're out here, donkey riding. What do you do? Oh, well, I'm a, whatever I am a is. Now, what's cool about this is whenever you position that question, reciprocation always says that they're always going to eventually ask you what you do. Always. So what do you do? I listen to it. It's going to give me cues. Okay, so they are a police officer, so I know they probably make around this much money per year. They have this type of lifestyle, so on and so forth. Well, what do you do? Me? Well, it turns out I help people buy and sell houses. I'm in real estate. In real estate? Yeah. Well, so once they say in real estate, they always do. You say, yeah, absolutely. It's an amazing job. I love helping people buy or sell homes. And it's just crazy cool, and you just kind of keep going. Just vibe, be who you are. And I think what I'm going to get at when you talk about overcoming fear, I think a lot of the fear comes from it's you're creating this within your head. And instead of just treating people like people, here's how I overcome fear, whether it's cold calling or anything else. And I'll tell you some of my cold calling horrors, right? I overcome fear by genuinely being interested in other people and genuinely just wanting to have a conversation to get to know them. And in the process, I'm just genuinely trying to relate to them and tell them who I am too. Because if you haven't heard me say it, I say it over and over and over. As a real estate agent, we are all fighting obscurity. We are trying to fight for eyeballs and ear holes, right? We're fighting obscurity. People don't know. The reason why you're not doing more business is because people don't know who you are. So every time I communicate with anybody, it doesn't matter if it's door knocking, if it's in the shopping mall, if it's going out and getting groceries. I get deals while I'm walking around a grocery store. If you're at the gas station, if you're standing outside of your office, it doesn't matter where you are. If they're within 5 feet of you, you should be communicating with them because you have a genuine interest in people. That's the key. A lot of people get lost because it says, oh, I gotta make these phone calls and I'm gonna call people, and what if they don't like me, and then I have to go down the script and I don't really understand it, and then they're gonna say mean stuff to me, and people are gonna yell at me, and they're gonna treat me like crap, and you're getting lost. You're getting lost in something that's not real. If you genuinely, which we should, you're in real estate, you're in sales, you should genuinely want to get to know people. You should genuinely want to communicate with them. And if you do and ask them questions and learn about who they are, you're going to build rapport. The more rapport you build, it takes away all of the fear because you're just hanging out having a conversation. The way I explain it to people, when you call on the phone, of course you got to do your intro, right, and all that jazz, but my number one goal when I'm on the phone, I treat it like I'm calling one of my family members. I treat it like I'm calling a brother, a sister, a mother, a father, an aunt, an uncle. I treat it like I'm calling a family member. and I'm genuinely just trying to be a good person and see, eventually, are you looking to potentially buy or sell a home? Or are you looking to interview an agent, potentially buy or sell a home here in the near future? Well, I'd love to be that guy. I'd love to help you out. No, you aren't. Well, do you know anybody that might be? Because, look, first off, I really enjoyed the conversation, but as you can tell, I genuinely want to help people. So do you know anybody that's looking to potentially buy or sell a home? So my number one recommendation to you, if you want to overcome fear when you're prospecting, whatever that type of prospecting is, the number one thing you need to do is change the way that you think about the people that you're prospecting. Maybe even change the word. Maybe don't say you're prospecting. Maybe you just get the word prospecting out of there. Why don't you say, I'm going to jump on the phone to see how many people I can connect with today? Just genuinely connect with people in our local community. I'm going to go run around through this neighborhood today and just see how many people I can hang out and talk with. That's the difference. And let me tell you why I got this approach. It sucks because I'm running way longer than I wanted to, but whatever. They're my videos. It's my YouTube channel. When I first started, and I told you, we built this off of social media and cold calling in the beginning. When I first started calling, I remember, and I started in the mornings, I remember I would have somebody start yelling at me, and it would destroy me. I remember this one day, I was probably 3 or 4 calls in on my 2 to 3 hour time block that I was doing at the time, and this person starts yelling at me and cussing at me and telling me I'm the scum of the earth, and it just emotionally destroyed me. I was so crappy that I just couldn't make any more phone calls. It shut me down. So there I was the entire day just sitting there, and this person, once they got done cussing at me and hung up the phone, they forgot about me, but they were renting space in here. In my head, they were renting space, weren't paying for it either, because that's all I could think about. All I could think about is how crappy and what I should have said to them. I should have let them have it. Well, maybe it was my fault. Like I'm going through like the different cycles of just hating myself. And that's when I decided, when I really started analyzing, whenever I had those crappy phone calls, when I really started analyzing why it happened or what was going on, it's because don't get me wrong, scripts aren't bad, but I was so stuck to this script and this idea that I sounded like a used car salesman. I sounded like somebody that was just basically calling to sell them some really awful medical device. Hi, my name is Chris. Do you have an issue with wetting the bed? Because it does happen, and I sell diapers. Like, it was awful. It was horrible. So when I changed the way that I thought, which was I genuinely just want to connect with people. And that's why I walked away from dialers. I don't know if you guys saw, but like I walked away from dialers, and I'm actually getting ready to go back to it because I've had some really great, through the Blitz, I've had some great conversations with people, and I says, I'm going to try it out. My mindset's different. But I walked away from dialers because I wanted to stop thinking about crushing and going through as many phone calls as possible in an hour. And I wanted to start looking at it from this, well, I made my 100 calls. I wanted to connect. How many people can I connect to within an hour? And as soon as I did that and I changed the way that I thought, I don't have any fear of making phone calls. I'm literally just calling I think it's fun. I'm calling to just have a good time and talk to people. When I'm out meeting people or just in the world, I'm out to meet people. I'm out to say hi. I'm out to stick my hand out and get to know people. And I think when you do that, it absolutely kills the fear of prospecting, because it's not prospecting anymore. You see what I mean? So anyways, that's what I got today. I thought that was a good one. If you watch this whole thing, I really believe you'll get something out of it. If you didn't, well, then you're not going to hear me say any of this anyways. Do me a favor. Go check out my YouTube channel, The Real Estate Blitz. Just type it into Google or Bing or any other thing that you use, and type in The Real Estate Blitz, and you'll see all the videos pop up on YouTube. Do me a favor and go subscribe. And, just the more subscribers, it's just kind of cool. I think it's really good content, and I just want to keep putting it out. It kind of motivates me a little bit to create better stuff. And engage. Send me some comments. I tell people all the time, you can call me on my cell phone. As long as I'm free, I'll answer it. And post up questions. I always make sure I personally answer all the questions as fast as I can. If you're seeing this on Facebook, you like, share, comment. Please share it out there. Let people see it. I really appreciate that. And if I can help you out in any way, just let me know. I'm on a mission to help change the industry. I think the industry is not in a healthy place right now, and I think one of the best ways that we can change it is that us, a group of real estate agents and brokers, we band together and we actually start educating each other. I think our education levels are too low, and we not all are being professional. And I think through education and sharing our experiences and helping each other, we will all become professionals and become better at what we do and master ourselves as real estate agents. And in return, we're going to become a commodity that is not something that can easily be gotten rid of. So do me a favor and just engage, right? Appreciate it. And I'll see you tomorrow. All right, have a good one.